What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're in the shop tonight and doing a little work on the Dozer here. You know, there's a saying about bulldozers. You may have heard it before. The place a bulldozer always breaks down is in a mud hole. Well, I found that most of the time it's true, but this time it's not. It broke down in the shop. So I blew a hydraulic hose. I was doing a little bit of work on this, and you guys that watch the channel know that I bought this thing. It didn't move and needed a lot of work to it. So anyway, I didn't replace all the hydraulic hoses because of the expense of that would have been several $1,000s. And anyway, whenever I put this thing back together, I set the idle on the injector pump by ear because somebody had messed with it and it was all out of adjustment. Anyway, so I had a photo tachometer on this thing right here. You put a little piece of reflective tape on your balancer, and I wanted to set the idle on the injector pump, and I had pretty much set it dead on by ear. I didn't even have to adjust it. But I wanted to set the wide open throttle RPM, or at least check it and make sure it was within spec, make sure somebody hadn't messed with it. So anyway, I was in the process of doing that. I had that thing sitting here running, and I put it wide open throttle so that I could check with my photo tachometer and make sure it was within spec. Anyway, it was sitting here running, and all of a sudden I see hydraulic fluid start spraying out from in there. And anyway, so I throttled it down, shut it off as quick as I could. And anyway, I made my own little hydraulic fluid river here. I don't know if you can tell, but it went all over the side of the 5610 here, and all the way out from under it and over here where those wheels are at. And so anyway, got quite a mess going on here. But what happened was, the hydraulic hose that goes to the filter housing, and the lighting is not real good in here, so you may not be able to see. I'll try to shine a light with my phone, and so maybe you guys can see down in here. But see where I got that shop towel right there, blue shop towel? The hose that comes from there, actually I think that may be the return. I'm not sure. Anyway, there's two hoses. The other one is right here on the top of this pump right here, right where my finger's pointing at. Both of those go to the filter housing back there, and they're both low pressure lines, and like that's the least ones you would think would blow out, because there is some hoses on here that definitely need to be replaced, but a lot of them work the blade and that sort of stuff, and would not be a huge issue if you blew one out. You know, you'd still be able to move the Dozer out of the place and get it somewhere where you could work on it and change it. The smaller lines like that one right there that should be replaced go to the joystick. Those are also pretty low pressure as well. The main ones you really don't want to blow are your main hoses that go to your drive motors. But anyway, I was not expecting the ones going to the filter housing to blow, but it is a low pressure hose, and it's not wasn't rated but 1250 psi, and evidently it had done got damaged, and the wire had shown through it or whatever, and it just finally blew out. But I doubt there's probably 60 or 80 psi on these filter housings. See, there's the other line that comes up through here, other hose, and anyway, that one right there goes back to it. And so that thing blew out, and that is your main, you know, that's as soon as you crank the engine up, it starts blowing oil. And so anyway, we made a huge mess, and I'm gonna need some more oil dry probably. But I ordered some new O-rings for those fittings as well. And I got a new hose in. I ordered this hose from Discount Hydraulic Hose.com, and we're gonna see if it'll fit. This is the old hose here that blew out. You see there, I guess the wires had just done rubbed through something, and it wasn't rubbing on anything. It just had a weak spot in it, I guess, over time. And this appears to be a factory hose, but I wouldn't have thought that, you know, no more pressure was on it, this would have been a big issue. I was more worried about the main drive hoses, and I inspected them, and they've all been replaced at one point in time. Now, that could have been 8 or 10 years ago, but they're not OEM hoses that come on the Dozer, so that's why I didn't worry about those. And as I say, the implement hoses going to the blade up there is not a huge concern. You can still move the Dozer even when those blows. In fact, I actually replaced a couple of those already. But I've got some 4,000 PSI hose here. It's got, you know, more wire reinforcement. It's got a better coating on it for rub resistance and whatnot. And so that's what we're going to replace that with. These are O-ring face seal fittings right there, flat face, O-ring on the fitting. And so hopefully that will fix my problem. I don't know how much hydraulic fluid that I lost. I got 3 buckets over here. I don't know if that's going to be enough, or hopefully it's too much and I'll have some left. So anyway, that's what I'm in the process of doing here, is trying to get this thing pieced back together. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Probably not even going to try to film it. It's so dark in here, I don't think the camera's even hardly picking up anything. But I'm going to try to get this fish back down in here, and we'll see if we can get this thing fired back up and get some oil back in it. All right, guys, so this has turned into quite the ordeal. I had to take a bunch more stuff out of here in order to get to the hose. The first hose I was able to get changed relatively easy, got it in there. The second one I could not get to, this one here. Come to find out, there's actually 2 more hoses on here, and I should have known that from when I worked on this thing before, but I didn't remember. That goes to the other pump down there. So I don't have those. They look like they may have been changed before, but I did reroute them a little bit, and I put some rubber heater hose on them right there to protect them, let them rub in a different spot for a while, I guess. And I'm sure we will have to address this and change some more hoses sometime in the future, but I'm going to tidy this up a little bit more and get the filters and everything put back on here, and get the batteries in here, and try to get this thing outside and get it washed up and everything. It'll make a big mess. I think on the newer Dozers they may have routed the hoses a little better. This is just not the best way to go about some of this. A bunch of sharp corners, and just doesn't seem like there was a lot of thought put into hose routing. It was like they mounted everything and then tried to figure out how to get the hoses hooked up later or something. I don't know. Anyways, this has been a couple hours so far, but I got both of those hoses on there. At least we got 2 more new hoses, so it's 2 less we'll have to worry about for a while. All right, guys, we're going to put some oil in this thing, see how much we lost. Maybe we didn't lose 5 gallons or so. I have no idea, really. That pump's pumping that thin hydraulic fluid pretty good. That's our sight glass right there. Well, that's 5 gallons. Open another bucket up. All we gotta do is pull the pump out of this one. Swap it over to this one. They overfilled it, evidently. It's not showing to be overfilled though, according to the sight glass. But maybe it did. Get a light up here so I can see better. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I guess it's full. We know that much. We ain't used that much out of that bucket, a couple gallons. Yeah, it looks like that's where it's at in the sight glass right there, best I can tell. Anyways, at least we got some oil in it. Alright guys, so we got everything back together, at least I think we do. I'm gonna fire it up real quick, make sure I don't see any oil pouring anywhere, anything I left off. I think we're good. And then I will finish this thing up tomorrow. I got to pick everything up on the side of it, and I'll have to get it cleaned up. Well, actually, it may be a few days before I get a chance to do all that. I guess it's out of fuel now. That's definitely what it acted like. Well, I didn't see any oil shooting anywhere anyways. Yeah, let me hop up here on the track. Will come down whenever I start it up. You can see it down here now. Whenever temperature of the dozer warms up, this oil starts expanding. It'll come back up a little bit. Sounds good enough to me. I'll get her finished buttoning back up and get everything cleaned up in a day or two when I get a chance. Get all this mess cleaned up. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. It's late. I have no idea what time it is. It's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. I don't even know what I did with my phone at this point. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's after 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I'm going in the house to go to bed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next video.